I would say that unquestionably, I am an American, born there. My father slaved there. Upon the backs of my people was developed the primary wealth of America, the primary wealth. You have to have accumulated wealth to start, to build. You did it another way here in Australia. You had to build your accumulated wealth too. You just came and took it. You know what I mean? And that's what they did in most of the countries. That's what you Europeans did. You just took it. We got to catch up with you a little bit. That's so in America. So there's a lot of America that belongs to me yet. You understand? But just like a Scottish American is proud of being from Scotland, I'm proud for being African. Now, in our school books, they tried to tell me that all Africans were savages, till I got to London and found most of the Africans I knew were going to Oxford and Cambridge and doing very well, and learned their culture. And even once somebody had the temerity, after one had conquered the Chinese people and imposed upon them the opium trade and everything else, to suggest that they were a backward people, just the people who had been civilized so long over the rest of you folks didn't make any sense at all. So somewhere, it was wonderful to find about the colored peoples of the world that they were very advanced. So I would say today that I'm an American who is infinitely prouder to be of African descent, no question about it. No question about it. I'm an Afro-American, and I don't use the word American ever loosely again.
False positive results released by direct-to-consumer genetics tests. One of the tests that you showed us, Ancestry.com, which will the acronym is DTCs. There's an increasing demand for the public for direct-to-consumer genetic tests. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration limited the type of health-related claims DTC tests are marketed. Some DTC companies provide raw genotyping data to consumers if requested, and these raw data may include variants occurring in genes recommended by the American College of Medical Genetics.
I don't consider this cherry picking, okay? I consider this not knowing what the hell you're reading.
Why is it important to comprehend what you read? Well, if you don't comprehend what you read, you're basically just doing what we call word calling. You're not gaining meaning from it. You're not able to use what you have read. And so it's kind of like, what's the point?
And genomics to report as incidental secondary findings. The purpose of this study was to review the outcome of requests for clinical confirmation of DTC's results that were received by our laboratory to analyze variant classifications concordance.
Low comprehension skills. Now, Truth Searcher shares this article on Cynetta's platform to debunk DNA, right? It says, false positive results released by direct-to-consumer genetic tests highlight the importance of clinical confirmation testing for appropriate patient care. So the title alone shows you that they are talking about health. This has nothing to do with ancestry. Let's read the purpose. There is increasing demand from public for direct consumer genetic test. And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration limits the type of health-related claims DTC tests can market. Let me repeat that. It limits the type of health-related claims. So we know this article is about diseases. It is not about ancestry. You're reaching Truth Searcher and you lack comprehension skills. This is going to be an easy zip them up. Some DTC companies provide raw genotyping data to customers if requested, and these raw data may include variants occurring in genes recommended by the American College of Medical Genetics and Genomics, right? Now let's go down. We identified 49 patient samples received for further testing that had previously identified genetic variants reported in DTC raw data, right? So out of 49 patients, right, 40% of the variants reported were false positives. So out of 49 patients, bro.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
40% out of 49 patients. And what are they talking about? In addition, some variants designated with the increased risk. So if they be like increased risk of cancer or increased risk of this, they're simply saying talking about disease and DNA. Okay? And let me prove it. It says DTC genetic tests are advertised and sold directly to the public and offer information that may include ancestry, risk of developing certain conditions, carrying status for autosomal recessive diseases. Okay, so in this right here, they're clearly talking about this article is talking about diseases, not ancestry. Okay? If you keep reading it, it says, owing to a growing interest in human genetics and personalized healthcare, there has been an increased demand for this type of testing from the public. All right? There is a growing market for DTC genetic testing companies. All right? And it says DTC can provide genetic information to individuals who might otherwise never have been tested due to circumstances such as lack of family history of disease. So they already showing you that you can get your genetic information using this. So even if you was to say, right, that this is about ancestry, which is not, it still say it can be done. So if you find any African in your ancestry, in your DNA, this is for the sake of argument. If you find any African in there, that means you wasn't already here. If you're not giving me sources, that say DNA testing is a hoax, I don't believe you. If you're not giving me information that's saying it can't be done, I don't believe you. All you doing is misinterpreting these sources. When this site is clearly talking about health, nearly all the individuals in this study were female, and most were unaffected with disease at the time of testing. Slightly over half of the individuals in this study were 30 to 49 years of age and reported Caucasian ancestry, while some individuals who underwent DTC testing had a personal history of disease. So this is about diseases. Stop reaching, pseudos. Pseudos, you have to stop reaching. This is a bad look. Let's keep going. Now, the second source that Truth Searcher shared was another source that's about disease and not ancestry. See, the brother is confused, man. We have a lot of confused abos. Let's play the video. This is also about diseases.
Here goes another one to back up that claim. A new study is suggested that the DTC
Now, let's stop right there. It says, genetic tests, a new study is now suggesting that DTC genetic tests rely on limited variant screening approach, right? Often yield clinical false negative. This is about diseases.
Tests that rely on the limited variant screening approach often yield clinical false negative results.
Let's stop right here. Because clearly the brother is trying to debunk ancestry tests using DTC that's about diseases. Limited variant screening tests provide information on a small, specific set of genetic variants widely known to be associated with risk of a disease. However, every gene can have thousands of potential variants that are associated with disease. How does that take away from ancestry? See, this is why these dudes got to be in an echo chamber. You can't debate this shit. Now, if he was to put this on Aboriginal Powers TV channel, right? Everybody in the chat would be saying, I lost. YK got smoked. When clearly this brother's source is talking about diseases. However, every gene can have thousands of potential variants that are associated with disease. Currently, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved DTC genetic screening tests for genetic risk of breast, ovary, and colorectal cancer. So the FDA approved of those direct-to-consumer screenings for breast cancer, ovarian, and colorectal cancer. So still, your own source, you're not proving that DNA can be used for diseases. This is an easy body bag. Like, where do they find these brothers at? And they really think they be kicking some shit. But all you do is read it. You read it verbatim. Don't even understand what you're reading. All you see is 40% this and it can't be done. I don't know what you think you're reading, Truth Searcher, but it doesn't agree with you. This has nothing to do with DNA tests. Now, for somebody who don't know how to read or comprehend, or for somebody with a low comprehension skill, it sounds like you kicking that fire. But you are talking about diseases.
The finding from the study, which was presented at the American Society of Human Genetics in 2019 annual meeting held in Houston, Texas, shows
diseases.
We want to provide data that quantifies how a limited screening strategy does or does not.
We're talking about screening. We're talking about screening. We're talking about medical. This is medical genetics. Remember how I told y'all there's different branches of genetics? This is medical genetics, bro. He's trying to debunk ancestry with medical genetics.
Identify the information clinical.
Just look at all of the stuff that's popping up on the channel. Nurse advisor. Look at all the advertising. Pfizer. This shows you that this site is literally about health.
Clinicians needed to guide patient care at the initial genetic risk.
So let's go to his next source. Dr. Epstein and his colleagues analyzed FDA-authorized limited variant screening tests for a gene, right? Detects 2 variants associated with colorectal cancer. These is genes. We're talking about false negatives and false positives for diseases. This has nothing to do with your ancestry results. These dudes got to stand on this. And this is why they don't want people like YK the Truth up there, because I'm going to make you stand on this. You ever wondered why every time they pull up somewhere, they got to come deep? Have you ever noticed that they have to be protected?
Listen, y'all just sit here and said, don't listen to me, listen to yourself. Y'all know them motherfuckers full of shit. So what the fuck y'all inviting them niggas over here for?
So we can control them niggas, mute them niggas, boot them niggas, do all that shit that's cute to them niggas. Mute them niggas, boot them niggas, do all that shit that's cute to them niggas.
These dudes are very fragile. They're very delicate. to the point where information will hurt their feelings. So they got to make up excuses. Oh, we don't want him up here. He's a 3-time loser. Oh, he's a degenerate. Let's attack him personally so we won't have to deal with his information. These are dirty tactics of Aboriginals, man. So they could get up there and share this bullshit. Because that's what this is, bullshit. He's talking, just look at the sources. Oncology. Cancer types. Look at the URL. Cancer types. But he wants to make you believe that this has something to do with ancestry and DNA test to prove if you come from Africa or America or wherever. So you fail, brother. So that's another site we getting out of here. Now he's here. Now he did all of that to come to here, and he's talking about PCA, and he don't even know what he's speaking on. Look at him. He can't even pronounce half of the shit he's reading. So here's the article that Truth Searcher cherry picked. All right. So let's go down and let's see if there's other means besides PCA. Right? This is easy work. Right? Let's see if I can find an alternative. Because we want to know, can you trace your ancestry using DNA? But everybody keep reaching. So let's see if we can find an alternative. Okay, what is this? Moving beyond PCA. As an alternative to PCA, we briefly note the advantages of a supervised machine-like model implemented in tools like the Geographic Population Structures, called GPS, and Pairwise Matcher, PAM. In this model, gene pools are simulated from a collection of geographically localized populations. The ancestry of the tested individuals is next estimated in relation to these gene pools. In this model, all individuals are represented as the proportion of the gene pools. Their results do not change when samples are added or removed in the second part of the analysis. Population groups are bounded within the gene pools, and in inclusion, these groups can be evaluated. This model was shown to be reliable, replicable, and more accurate for many of the applications discussed here, including biogeography, population structure modeling, ancestry inference, forensics. So there are alternatives to PCA. Ancient DNA origins, a common software that provides a breakdown of one's ancestry to ancient gene pools, calculates their genetic distance, ancient individuals and cultures. We got TPS is a tool. We got My Bronze Age. We got the Ancient Y database, temporal population, TBS, GPS, a commercial software that provides a breakdown of one's ancestry to 42 gene pools, geographical origins of the parental DNA, 2 migration routes, and historical context. Pairwise, PAM. This website allows upload links, so you have more than one way to skin a cat, brother. So what did you debunk?
The unidirectional phonology of Homo sapien anchors the origins of modern humans in Eurasia. Background. Now, let me say this first and foremost before I get into this. I don't believe in the out of Africa theory, and I don't believe in this out of Eurasia theory. But according to the science, this is what they are saying. This is not what I'm saying, but I'm showing the contradiction of all this shit. It's not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You take it up with them. The Outer Africa hypothesis was challenged recently in an extended mtDNA analysis, a PPA, which is a progressive phylogenetic analysis that identified the African human populations as paraphyletic, a finding that contradicts the common Outer Africa understanding that HSS, which is Homo sapiens sapien, had originated in Africa and invaded Eurasia from there. The results was consistent with the molecular out of Eurasia hypothesis and Eurasia paleontology, a subject that has been largely disregarded in the discussion of Outer Africa. In the present study, the mtDNA tree and the phylogeny based on maternal inheritance was compared to the nuclear DNA tree of the paternally transmitted Y chromosome haplotypes, Y-DNAs. The comparison showed full phylogenetic coherence between these two separate sets of data. The results were consistent with potentially 4 translocations of modern humans from Eurasia into Africa, the earliest taking place 250,000 years before present time. The results were in accordance with the postulated behind the out of Eurasia at the same time as they lent no support to the out of Africa hypothesis. The conformity between the mtDNA and the Y-DNA phylogenes of the HSS, which is Homo sapiens sapien, is consistent with the understanding that Eurasia was the donor and not the receiver in human evolution.
Yo, truth searcher, don't share this article again, bro, because it shows you lack comprehension skills. It still says that Eurasians came out of Africa. So what is your point? It's still saying humanity came out of Africa. But you don't read. You don't understand what you're reading because you want to cherry pick. Results in discussion. Homo erectus has been placed at the root of the tree, consistent with Homo erectus entering Eurasia from Africa.
In fact, a highly cited geneticist at the University of London, Sweden, in a study titled The Reversal of Human Phylogeny, Homo left Africa as erectus. Homo left Africa as erectus.
I mean, it really doesn't debunk anything. So this is the human origins of evolution, right? It says human evolution is the lengthy process of change by which people originated from ape-like ancestors. Scientific evidence shows that physical and behavioral traits shared by all people originated from ape-like ancestors and evolved over a period of approximately 6 million years. So why do these pseudos keep saying things like evolution says we come from monkeys? Evolution doesn't say we come from monkeys. Stop repeating it. All right? Stop repeating it. Now let me get back to the point of humans originating in Africa, bro. You don't understand what you're reading, all right? You know there's something called archaic humans, right? Now let's get it. It says right here, early humans first migrated out of Africa into Asia probably between 2 million and 1.8 million years ago. They entered Europe and somewhat later between 1.5 million and 1 million years. Species of modern humans populated many parts of the world much later. For instance, people first came to Australia probably within the past 6,000 years and to the Americas within the past 30,000 years. So you wasn't already here, bruh. You keep sharing these sources that say DNA works.
The conformity between the mtDNA and the Y-DNA follow genes of the HSS, which is Homo sapiens sapiens, is consistent with the understanding that Eurasia was the donor and not the receiver in human evolution.
You want to try to debunk the out of Africa theory, and your own site says they did it by using DNA. Like, what is wrong with these pretendians, yo? If DNA is a hoax and you can't do nothing with DNA, why are you using DNA to debunk the out of Africa theory? Even though you don't agree, you don't believe in none of it. You don't believe in the out of Africa theory. You don't believe in the out of Asia theory.
I don't believe in the out of Africa theory, and I don't believe in this out of Eurasia theory.
Eurasia theory. So what's your point, bro? What is your point? When both of them are saying that humans originate in Africa, there's no way you could put it. Homo erectus came from Africa. Archaic humans came from Africa. Low comprehension skills. You put me in the ring with any of these pseudos and I'm going to mop them. They're going to have to hold this L. Again, you got to hold this L, man. Do some real research. And this was updated July 11, 2022. Your source was from 2020, brother. 2020. And this is a reliable source. So you got beat up. You went on Sinetta TV. You shared things about diseases, sources about diseases. Then you went to try to debunk the out of Africa theory to prove your point. A waste of time.
I need you to give my time back to me. Can you give me back my time? Can you give my time back to me? Huh?
You wasted time on Sinetta TV, brother. You did absolutely nothing. You running around here acting like Doogie Howser. So it's your brother YK the Truth, man. Hit that like button. Share the video. It's Abo season. The smoke is up. Peace.